They planned it to be a murder of a 14-year-old black boy. They planned for him to be tortured. They planned for him to be put in a pine box, nailed shut so that it would be secret.
The pain, the trauma of African Americans, over the years, it's taken its toll on us as a people.
The most common thing you hear is, we weren't born then, so why are you holding us accountable?
White America was wrong. It did something unspeakably horrific for 4 centuries. And to come to terms with that takes an enormous amount of moral courage.
We're talking about human beings that need to understand each other, and that seldom happens.
We've got to recognize the fact that we do live in the longest-standing white supremacist order in history. The trauma of that is unbelievably catastrophic.
Religion and the church have a role to call injustices by name, to identify the continuing evils in our world.
Only God can heal the trauma. Only God.
We see the sins of the father passed down from generation to generation, all the way back to the separation of the families.
Reverend Keith Williams recognizes how the trauma passed down from his ancestors still affects him today.
My Lord.
I can't imagine the physiological and the emotional and the psychological trauma that my forefathers experienced.
Lord, I'll never.
The wounds of slavery last for a very, very long time, and often they are not addressed. People are too ashamed or they don't know where to go with it.
Dr. Harriet Hill, an expert in biblical trauma healing, says people today still feel the post-traumatic effects of slavery.
It's not that these people living today were enslaved, but they have that heritage of the shame and the violence that was committed against them.
Well, for many of our families, we don't have to go back to the Middle Passage to know what post-traumatic stress syndrome is. The effects of oppression are still reverberating in our society today.
This was August 24th, 1955. He was taken to the Sheridan plantation, to a shed, and there he was brutally beaten.
Phyllis Smith was 6 years old when she first learned about the highly publicized murder of her cousin, Emmett Till.
Money, Mississippi, a story that shocked the entire United States. Emmett Till, 14, visiting his uncle Mose Wright, was kidnapped and killed allegedly for wolf whistling at the wife of accused Roy Bryant.
Emmett was known as Bobo, and we loved him. He had it all. He was charismatic, he was conversational, he was cute, and all of the younger cousins adored him, and I was one of those.
On his 14th birthday, Bobo from Chicago wanted to visit family in Mississippi and begged his mother to allow him to travel to the unknown southern Serene.
And they took him to the Tallahatchie River, tied this 70-pound cotton gin fan around his neck, and threw him into the river.
Mamie Till sought help from law enforcement, Congress, and even President Dwight D. Eisenhower. She wanted justice for the brutal crime committed against her only child.
Emmett's mother had insisted that the coffin be open, and she wanted to let the world know what had been done to her son.
Lord, and your help.
And what did God turn it into? God turned it into something in which it was not a nailed pine box, it was an open coffin. So the whole world could see the heinous, torturous evil perpetuated against my cousin.
Bryant and his half-brother, J.W. Milam, were acquitted by this jury. And subsequently, even though they admitted taking the boy from the house, they were freed of kidnap charges.
4 months after the trial, Look magazine published the brothers' confessions. Their interviews detailed how they tortured and killed a Negro boy from Chicago.
It's even larger than a racial crime against all Blacks. It's larger than that. It's actually a crime against humanity.